I'm going to change this electro-harmonic
Small Clone
into this modified electro-harmonic
Small Clone
boutique version. Hello people, Joe from Hello Sailor Effects here. Welcome to today's video. In today's video we're going to be looking at, you guessed it, the Electro-Harmonix Small Stone Chorus.
Small Clone. Clone with AC. Come on Joe. It was only used by the legend that is, Kurt, Mother effing Cobain.
In this video we're going to look at how we modify the Electro-Harmonix Small Stone Chorus.
Oh dear.
How it sounds. And the best thing about it all is this modification is going to cost you less than the price of a cup of coffee. Well, some cups of coffee. Right, okay, so first we're going to have a look at what we need for this mod, and it's a real simple one here. We need a capacitor ranging anywhere from 50 pF, 50 picofarads, all the way up to 550 picofarads. Now, the key to this is the larger the capacitor, the more, Great England again, Joe, the deeper your chorus is going to be. So I've gone for a 470 pF capacitor just because I had these nice Soviet-made paper in oil caps. So I'm going to go with that. And secondly, you're going to need a 10K trim pot. Now this is going to be used to set the depth of our chorus. And these are the only two components we're going to need to change in this pedal to make it one of the best sounding choruses ever. I mean, we can already see here that it has an MN3007 chip in it already, which is here. So that's pretty good. And really, that's all we need to change on this. On this particular one, I may change a few of the other capacitors just for ones that look better. Probably perform the same. Shoot me down in the comments, everyone, for putting large capacitors ridiculously into pedals. Right. Also, while we're here, I'd love to just take the time to point out how cool is Mike Matthews putting his face on a battery that comes in the pedals. That's fantastic. A lot of time for that, Mike. Anyway, let's get on with it. Parts we're going to be changing are this little capacitor here and this resistor here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and remove them off the board and we'll get back to it. If you want to see how I remove these from the board, please refer to the BD2 modification video that is in the description of this video. That shows how I remove all the components from the board. And I'm sure lots of people have stuff to say about my technique or lack thereof. Cheers. That is now both components removed from the board. There they are. I'm going to go ahead and start with this capacitor because it's going to be probably the most difficult to get in there. I'm going to manipulate the legs so the capacitor sits somewhere above this little diode here. And I'm going to bend the legs round so then they form underneath it. As I've shown in the BD2 video, please head back to that video and watch if you're interested. I'm going to orientate the capacitor and get it through them two holes. Here's our capacitor properly situated on the board, and as you can see, I've just suspended it above all the other components but lower than this cap here to make sure that it will fit in. Now we're going to move on to adding in our 10K trim pot. Now to do that, we're going into these two holes here where I removed R26, I believe it looks like there. So these two holes here, rather than trying to squeeze it on this side of the board and not being able to access it so easily, I'm going to flip the board over and I'm just going to attach the pot to these two lugs here, and that way when we take the back off the pedal we'll be able to adjust it. Now I'm sure most of you would probably rather just run a cable from each of these lugs straight to your pot and mount the pot on the outside of the enclosure, but for this I'm just going to mount it on the inside, mainly because I didn't drill the enclosure. Okay, so as you can see here, I've now joined the middle lug of my pot to one of the outside lugs. That creates one terminal, and then I've attached one of my resistor clip-ins as previously shown. Go back and check my back catalogue, hint hint. Yeah, I've connected one of them resistor legs onto that, so then that will fit in one hole, and then the other outside lug is connected to this leg here. I've done the same thing. That should slot straight in the holes now. That's basically it. So we have our capacitor changed, On our pot changed, now all that's left to do is to reinstall this into our enclosure and give it a test. That is now our small stone wired back up and back in the enclosure. Little note, definitely take a picture of the internals before you take it apart, because I did not do that and I've just spent 10 minutes looking online for pictures of internals to find out which wire goes where. Well done, Joe. That goes back to the old preparation thing that I never prepared for. Get in. Right, next is going to be a sound sample and we'll see how it sounds. And that's how you modify an electro-harmonic
small clone
for less than the price of a cup of coffee. Not exactly the price of a cup of coffee, because of course you've got to factor in the finish and the tools to complete the job, but you get the idea.